Hello again, writers. Get ready to dive deep. In this segment, memoirist and coach Jamie Rose reveals some powerful tools for silencing that inner beast that whispers discouraging words in your ear and tries to keep you from creating the writing life you want.
Jamie Rose, welcome back to the Write Anyway Summit. We're so delighted to have you.
Well, I am delighted to be here. I adore you and I adore what you're doing. I think you provide a great service to writers, including this writer.
Oh, thank you. I was just telling you right before we started recording how you already made me cry today because I'm lucky enough to read an advanced copy of your book, Facing Madam X. And it's so beautiful and so important. And I just want every single writer to read it because it's really, really helpful. And it's not just for writers, right? It's for anybody. So let's hone in right there. And what is Madam X? Let's just start there.
All right. So I work with a man named Phil Stutz, who some people know from the documentary Stutz or from the books, The Tools Coming Alive, which I see right behind you over there, Lessons for Living. I met with Dr. Stutz in the late 80s. He was my shrink, and he told me about this thing called Part X. And Part X is the voice that says, you can't, you're a piece of shit, you have no talent, no one's going to buy your book anyway, or you're too old, too fat, too whatever, too undelightful. It basically it really wants to kill you, either metaphorically or literally. Like if someone is an alcoholic, says, it's okay, one more drink.
Yeah.
Even though you crashed your car and lost your family, you can handle it, right? That's Part X. So that in that way, they can literally kill someone, or that you can't, or you don't have the necessary vitality to handle this terrible thing you're facing in your life. So you need to die, right? So it can go that extreme. But with this is for writers, but for writers, it's it's so many angles. It has so many angles. You need to. For me, in the writing of this last book, it was like, well, it's very important, Jamie, before you start writing today, that you organize your closet by color. I mean,
Yeah.
it really, I was watching a video. I have a video of me watching the video explaining that I really think that I should probably accomplish this, and there should be the tonal greens, But then, of course, you're not talented enough, you're not good enough, blah. So my book is called Facing Madam X, an initiation into feminine power. I wrote it for women because my mentor, Phil Stutz, is a man, and his co-writer, Barry Michaels, is a man. And Sue Campbell, sitting right across from me virtually here, helped me too. You were kind of the reason I got the idea to write the book is they have a tool called the Mother, and a tool is like a little meditation to help you feel, understand a concept. And the Mother is a very benevolent force. It's a way to self-soothe. And in this meditation, the Mother absorbs into her body all of your pain, which is in the book. And Sue's like, I've really had enough with the absorbing. Okay. Can I just obliterate it? Because I don't want to take it in anymore. I don't want to carry that stuff around. So I thought, oh my God, that's such an insight. Like, wait a minute, this is a trope that we're supposed to absorb all the women.
Yeah.
So that's how I got the idea. So in the book, I call X Madam X. Also, I got that idea because when I was working with Phil in the late 80s, and now he's like my friend and my mentor, and I talk to him, he's like family. I talk to him every day. But back then, he used to record every session. And it was back then we had cassette tapes, and you'd leave with a cassette tape. And I would label that cassette tape, and one of them said Madam X, because I was in a full what they call X takeover, which is, I need this and I need this to be happy, and I will not be happy until I have this. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I must have. Right, that's an X takeover. So for writers, one of the ways, so X takeover, one is it will block you from doing your writing. In my book, I talk about that. I had Sue knows this. I had a book that was published, I think it was like 12 years ago, and it was published by Penguin, a big publisher, and a writer friend, we use that term loosely, told another friend who actually is a friend, but never should have told me this, told me that the other friend said, how did this happen? You must have done something, meaning write the proposal, because we all know Jamie Rose can't write. She literally said that to the friend, like, I mean, I would, like, somebody says to me, I will never, I mean, what? Okay, so now, still 12 years later, I'm a published author. I got paid a big advance from the first book, not on this one, but I have a publisher, not as big, but Jamie Rose can't write, Jamie Rose can't write, which I already had living in me, but now I have, and society agrees with me, right? So it strengthened that X voice. So writers will have their own internal X voice, male and female, all genders, we all have. I've never met anyone who doesn't have a version of that, no matter what their avocation or profession or just who they are as a person in the world. You have the internal self-destructive X that I don't have the talent, but then even if you do believe you have the talent, it can become, well, who needs my book? I don't have a platform.
Right.
I don't have enough followers. Why? Even if I do, no one's going to read it. Or even if you do have your book published and it's out there, then it's like, well, how many reviews did I get?
Right.
What's my ranking? My first book, there was this diabolical app, which I don't think exists anymore, called Novel Rank. And it was an app that told you every half hour what your Amazon ranking was. And when that first book came out, like, I had been doing this work a long time. I thought, well, I'm very spiritually advanced. Well, book come out, all bets are off. I'm like, what is my Amazon ranking? I'm tapping that novel app like a rat hitting a pellet in a maze, like, oh, food pellets, and then I go like, oh, I'm in the, for that, then I think it was like the 7 numbers. Oh no, I'm in the 8 numbers. Or like, so at every level, X wants to get you. And I have clients who are very well established authors. I have one who's a very well-known journalist and author, just had a big book come out. To me, I'd be like, love to have that success. And for him, X will find, yeah, but you weren't, reviewed in this publication.
Right.
It's no matter how far up you get, there's always X will be there waiting.
Yes.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about today was an inner versus outer motivation system.
Yes.
Inner versus outer motivation system. So that becomes, why are you writing your book? And for me, after that first book, because I had written that first book, I was so shocked that I got a book deal and so thrilled, like, what? And I have been such an avid reader. So when I got that contract with that little penguin on it, I was like, oh my God. I have a picture in my pajamas with the penguin, like, oh my God. But it was like the book, it wasn't the writing. It was the book, like, that I got a book deal. And then they wanted me to, what they call, crash the book. Cause it was a self-help / memoir, which is what this book is too, but using dance as a metaphor for relationship. And they wanted to kind of cash in on the dance craze thing that was happening. Yep. So they had me write the book really fast. And so I just wanted to get my word count out, and I didn't have the pleasure of the creativity. So this book, I wanted to write a book that I put love into and care into. And I'm going to be 66 and I want to have written another book was my goal. Well, it's been 12 years, and it wasn't like I didn't have any other ideas. I did, but they didn't have fruition, or I procrastinated. But this one, my why was, I want to beat Madam X. I want to fulfill a bucket list. So it's not about even I want to write the best book I can write so that I will have accomplished getting over my self-hatred and low self-esteem, to do it, to have beat that voice that says you can't. I've been doing a monologue here. Do you want to interrupt or anything?
I just want to do one quick underscore for people that your book is called Madam X because it is written from a feminine perspective. And Madam X is like the special Part X tools that Part X pulls out to mess with women, right? Because we have a different set of issues to deal with. We all have Part X, but it has a different flavor and a different persona as Madam X as well.
Yes, thank you for saying that. So Madam X, women have all the stuff men have, and a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah.
because we're supposed to look really cute while we're doing all of that, right? And just even like she's aging gracefully and she's not aging gracefully, or she's had too much work, or she should have work, or she should let her hair go gray, or she, just like it's just forever, So women have all these other ways, or having children or not having children, so many other ways. And also, I mean, honestly, I think that women have to do a lot. Raised by my mother, she was a mother and had a job, and she was expected to whether provide for dinner herself or arrange for dinner to be provided.
Mhm.
So women have like so much and particular things that are expected from them societally and even within our families, that we often get the lion's share.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like women writers, what I see, struggle more with imposter syndrome than men do, right? So it's like we have, and that guilt, that push pull of, oh, if you're taking time for your writing, you're taking time away from your family, or you're taking time away from building your career, right? There's more pressure on women as writers to give it up for other people.
Yeah, even, in my case, I mean, I'm going to be 66. I don't know when it's coming out in November. And my partner, soon to be husband, is 71. And even within that, even though it's not been said, but our roles are, I'm pretty much the one who makes sure there's food in the refrigerator. And so basically, we had no food in the refrigerator for 6 months. Because I'm like, I'm writing. I'm like, he goes, what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm the one who's asked. Like, I'm supposed to come up with it. Well, I think there's a frozen pizza back there somewhere. We don't have kids, but like, it was still kind of like I would be asked, like, dude, I've been like inside my book for 8 hours. I don't friggin' know I don't even care. Right. So even in this system, it's sort of an implied, I wouldn't say this is a sexist guy, he would go get it if I asked him, but still the question is asked to me primarily, like I'm the first tier of dinner.
Yeah.
So
women have that mental load as like the home managers in addition to whatever else they're doing. And caregiving, you were a caregiver for your father when he had dementia, and your mom was doing a lot of the caregiving too. And then you were a caregiver for your mom in her final months. And you were trying to write this book during that period.
Yeah. So I got this book deal in 2023, and then she got sick. And I couldn't write. And I had so much guilt. Like, I mean, I'm not writing. I was beating myself. I'm not writing the book. But it's like, and Bruce, my husband, was so helpful because he's a very accomplished writer. And he's like, Jamie, this is what you're doing right now. But what was beautiful about that experience, my mother knew about the book. And I'm very honest about who she was. She was an alcoholic and she got sober. I'm so lucky I have that story. But she gave full permission and blessing for me to write that. I think it was important to her. It was like a way of making amends to me.
Yeah.
That I would be able to tell this story. And I got to show her, even though the book wasn't written, I showed her the dedication page, which says "For my mother."
Yeah.
And she cried. And that was, I know, it was a beautiful, I know, she got to see that. We also wrote her headstone together. We did.
I love that headstone. Tell real quick what it is.
Okay, so my mother had been a dancer before she had kids and all that, and a professional dancer, and she was a rockette. And sitting with her, and she loved that she was a dancer. And my father was a singer. They met in a show, a very cute kind of show busy family. And she was in her little hospital bed, and I said, so we're talking about death, and I said, I have some ideas for your headstone. She said, let me hear it. And I said, how about this? Beloved wife, mother, grandmother, rockette. And she squealed with delight. She said, oh yes, rockette with 2 keys. So that's her headstone. And yeah, so we had some beautiful, beautiful time together. And I had to give up the book during that time. And now that story is very much a part of this book. So that's one thing I do want to say about the timing. We can get like, I'm supposed to have it by this date. And that's been impossible. But sometimes it's very good that if I'd written that book by that date, it wouldn't have been the same book. And I like this book better because it has that story, which is really the love story of my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
With my mother.
So let's go back and talk about inner and outer motivation
Okay.
a little bit more, because I want to have that concept really solid, because I think a lot of people get hung up there.
Yeah. So if my inner motivation system is, I want to write this book because I have more to say as a writer, as a person. And I have that voice that says, too hard, you can't, but I don't want to die. I went through my mother's death, which put me in, I'm 20, she's only 22 years older than me. So I can see it, I can see my headstone from here. And I don't want to, there's that famous, I forgot who says it, die with your song still in you, but I don't want to have Madam X or Part X have stopped me from doing this thing that's a heart's desire. So the heart's desire is to create the book. That's an inner motivation system. And it's not, now, when I wrote the book, I always do think of the reader because I want my book to communicate. I want somebody to be able to read it and as best I can have them understand what I'm saying. And it's going to be imperfect because I can, it's imperfect. I can't, that's part of it, is understanding that. I can only point toward it. But I do my best to express and have that person have an experience. So in that reason, I'm outer motivated, but it's coming from a wholesome place in a way. It's like, I want to express this. And even if it's one person reading it, if they can have an experience, that's what I want here. Now, that's still a kind of an inner motivation system. An outer motivation system is, I'm going to write a romance novel because I know I can make money doing that. And it's fine to do that, but it's capricious. There's no guarantee. When I had my first book come out, I was so excited about the idea that I had a book, and I was writing it to get it done on time, deadline, and get it done. And it had some things I liked in it, but I had a lot of stuff that was kind of filler because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, what, got to get that word count, got to get it in by this date, and then it was all outer motivation. It was like, and now the book's going to be a hit, and it was a tremendous hit within the Rose family. I think it sold it out. I have a lot of cousins, probably 80 copies, it's a lot for a family. So it's a tremendous hit. But beyond that, not so much. And I was so deflated. And I said, I would look at the numbers, like, that's outer motivated. Like, what's my number? How many books have I sold? How many reviews have I gotten? How many good reviews? Ooh, bad review. This person, that's all outer. And, I'm going to write this book because I think I'm going to help people. Well, that's a little tricky, because it needs to start in a way from a selfish motive, but not selfish in terms of money and prizes, selfish in terms of, I want to have expressed something. That's why I'm seeing a lot of people right now. There's a few Substacks and people, I'm on their lists, and I don't want to unsubscribe, I don't want to hurt them, but they're having these conversations with AI. I am not interested in your conversation with the computer, no matter how brilliant it is, because it's a computer. There isn't a lot of effort. It's really hard to create something. And that's the experience I want.
Yes.
I don't want the product. Now, I did use AI. What I used AI for was like a research assistant. Like, there's a few facts about women's law that was enacted in whatever, I forgot the date already, 74. I checked that. Or I used it as like a really extra big thesaurus.
Yep.
Things like that. Or to look up a myth to make sure I have my myth right. So really like a research assistant. But it was always offering, this is what was so diabolical. It was like, if you'd like me to help you craft a paragraph. And I'm like, got it. No thanks. Well, would you like me to turn that into a long chapter for you? Nope. Would you like to submit your work to me and then I can write something in your voice? Nope. I have not submitted any of my work to AI because I don't want it to know my voice. It's like the Lorelei, it's like the sirens, Ulysses, come to the rocks. It's easier. And I'm not judging you for it. I'm not interested in reading what was easy for you to do.
That's the thing where this is, I think, writers get really scared that AI is going to somehow replace them. And I'm like, what are you writing for? Are you writing for the product? Or are you writing because you like writing and you like the experience of figuring out what you think and feel about something? Because we sit down because we think we have something to say, and then we start writing and we find out what we actually have to say. Right.
Absolutely.
And if you let AI do it, that is taken away. And again, there's a place for AI, but I think we're all still figuring that out. And every writer is going to have a different answer. But from a inner and outer motivation perspective, we want to be in this for the inner reasons because we don't have control over the outer reasons. And we don't want to live or die or stake our whole self-worth on the outer validation.
Yeah, then just on the AI thing, I mean, there's a pleasure I get. Like you told me before we started here that my book moved you. I mean, if AI had written that, I wouldn't have a feeling. I'd be, oh, AI did a really good job.
Yeah.
You know? And it was hard. It's hard but it's a delicious difficulty because we love I don't trust a writer who doesn't read, right? I'm a reader. Every good writer I know reads. And like we love words. We'll read a sentence and go, oh my God, that sentence. And then to create a sentence that's beautiful. Even if you're only writing nonfiction, if my book was a pure self-help guide, there's still a craft involved in not only giving a prompt or in my book, there's my versions of tools. So it was kind of like writing poetry in a way. And not only poetry, but I'm a trained yoga teacher. I taught meditation. So really thinking, okay, what word is going to help that person get in? And what repetition of words is going to help? And the writing isn't good writing sometimes because there's redundancies, but there's redundancies on purpose because it's a meditation. Yeah. Even that has craft in it. And there's a pleasure in, oh, okay, I wrote this meditation and it made the person feel what I was hoping they would feel. And those are inner motivation systems. If you just want to have here's the workbook for Jamie Rose's book, Facing Madam X, and AI can do that. And we'll do it, I'm sure, well, and there'll be no blood in it. There'll be no soul in it.
Yeah. Yeah. The writers that we generally work with, they're in it for the soul. They're not in it for the product. You could be doing a lot of other things to make money on a product that's not a book, right? I think most writers are in it because that's what they've always longed to do, always been drawn back to. It's the thing that is always nagging at them, but maybe part X gets in the way sometimes more than others. Do you want to choose a tool? Let's say we've got a writer who really wants that experience, that creativity, but Madam X is really messing with them and there's a lot of procrastination happening. I want to give people a taste of the tool.
Yeah. Okay, so there's two things. One is a concept, and that is something called the plane of will. And to enact the plane of will, you want to make a commitment to yourself and follow through and do that every day. Now, I say every day, but if something happens, like my cat died, I think I still put in my thing that day, but my mother's dying, I had to go off the plane of will for a while. But okay, back in January when I really got down to I got to write the book now. I have to write Madam X. I was so scared off. What? I can't. And I had a bunch of writing, but it was just a bunch of writing on different ideas. It wasn't a chapter. I hadn't even, I had no idea. And what I told myself was, okay, you can write for 20 minutes every day. And even if that 20 minutes, even if no writing happens, even if I open my computer and read some of my old stuff or play with the font, I mean, I ended up changing the subtitle, right? Originally it was this long, ridiculous, and then I realized that the experience of writing the book, I'll go back to the tools in a minute. The experience of writing the book was an initiatory experience for me.
Yeah.
It was a spiritual maturity. I went to the next level because I beat Madam X, right? So the book is called An Initiation into Feminine Power. But I was so scared off. So I said, okay, 20 minutes a day. And I actually had a friend, and this is really something that isn't in the book that I did. I have a friend who's a very accomplished director and screenwriter. And she was working on a memoir. And I told her that I was going to be doing 20 minutes a day. And she said, oh, I want to do it too. So I said, okay, gold star if we do 20 minutes. And so we did a text starting in February or January, going in, and then we'd say, did my 20, and we'd give the emoji gold star. And that's how I started. I literally, if I was 20 minutes, felt like 20 hours. It was excruciating. I had a little timer, and I'd be like, what time? And like 7 minutes had passed. And it was so hard. I was like, Jamie Rose can't write. Jamie Rose can't write. Jamie Rose can't write. Dad, you can't. But I'm like, I'm just going to sit here till the timer goes off. And it was so hard. So that's one thing. And if it's right for 5 minutes, choose that.
I tell people one sentence. Just one sentence.
Drop down and give me one sentence. So the plate of will is, if you say I'm going to write 5 minutes every day, and you do 5 minutes every day, and you do 5 minutes every day, 5 minutes every day, you start to develop a kind of confidence and a habit. You get a habit, but you also get a confidence, which is, I made a commitment to myself and I kept it. Inner motivation system again. So it's not about, oh, I wrote something so brilliant in those 5 minutes, or I didn't even, I wrote such a dumb sentence. It doesn't matter. You said you'd write for be in the world of the book or whatever for 5 minutes, and you did it, and you did it, and you did it. And I literally wrote gold stars on a wall calendar because I like to see it. Like, oh,
Yep.
look, there's more stars. Oh, a whole month of stars. So that's part of it. But the other part is the X voice. And this is my favorite tool. I'm going to teach it to you. You know the tool, but I'll tell you the tool. So whatever who's listening, whatever your X is, you're not good enough, you can't, no one's going to want to do it. What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. There's enough books in the world. You have no platform, whatever it's telling you. So close your eyes and imagine you're inside of a circle. And in this circle, you are in your own strength and identity. We call this the I am space. I am. This is your sovereign space, your individuality. And all around you, 360 degrees, is the part X voice saying, you're not, you're a piece of shit. No one's going to read your book. You're nothing, whatever it's telling you. And now from inside of yourself, generate a force of rage. And I'm talking not anger like somebody cut you off in traffic. I mean God level rage. I mean like fury, volcanic explosion rage. And shoot that rage out from your body like the quills of a porcupine, 360 degrees out from your body. Push away that part X voice. Get the fuck away from me. Screw you. Fuck you. I am. And I'm sorry for the F words if that offended anyone. That's how I roll. Let's push it away. So we've just done that. So we're going to do it again a little faster. So you see where we're going here. So keeping your eyes closed, you're in your I am space. And all around you, 360 degrees, is the part X voice saying, you're not, you can't. And inside yourself, generate that anger, rage. Fuck you, I am. Get away from me. And now, Sue, keep doing the tool, but open your eyes. And now feel it.
Yeah.
Here I am.
What are you going to do? Reject me?
So now, I know that tool so much, it's a part of me, that I don't have to stop and close my eyes and do the tool. As soon as I hear, you can't, I just go, no, and I know I just have to get my butt in the chair. And so when you do the cosmic rage tool, or you push away the part X voice, you don't then just stand there like, oh, and now I'll just be here hating part X. You have to get into some kind of action. Now, it can be an outer action like writing or washing the dishes or going for a walk or, whatever you need to do. Or it can be an internal action such as a gratitude list in your head. I can walk. I can go to the bathroom by myself. I can see. I can hear. I can taste. I have love in my life. Because part X wants to come back in. But what this tool does for me is it creates some space between me and that X voice. And in that space, I can move forward. So we call it cosmic rage because it's God level rage. It's like superhuman rage. It's the force of nature. Like I explained, like a volcanic kind of rage. And the first part of the tool really is labeling the Part X voice.
Yeah.
So I would say to the people listening, start noticing your Part X voice and labeling it. And you'll see for most of us how much it's right there. It's like an awful little beast on your shoulder, just whispering sour nothings into your ear all the time. And you just like go, there's no good to be had from having a conversation with it. It will win. I'll go like, but I can write. I'm a published author. Like, well, you know what this person said, Jamie Rose can't write. Or, you know, that first book, there's a lot of filler in there. You know, that first book, there's that stupid cliched piece where you said, I was like a starving man in the desert. I mean, you know, like it will come up and I'll be like, you're right. You know, it like a little disgusting beast on your shoulder. You just knock it off. And so I don't have to like do the tool. I do the tool in an instant. I hear the voice, nope. Hear the voice, nope. Hear the voice, nope. If you want to know if it's X or not, does it move you forward or hold you back? Does it make you feel bad or does it make you feel good? So if you think of something you did that where you were really maybe awful to a person on purpose or inadvertently, like that person saying that thing, telling me that thing, you know, you can look back and think, oh, you know, I shouldn't have said that. And you can call that person or talk to that person and make an amends. So that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about just that useless beating yourself up voice that everybody has, whether they're writers or not. All it does is stop you.
I really want to encourage people to try this tool because when I glommed onto the tool so quickly. I saw the Stutz documentary. I started researching. I started reading the books. I found Jamie. I'm like, Jamie, you're going to be my coach. And the Cosmic Rage one had me a little hesitant at first until I tried it, right? Because I'm like, you know, I'm from Minnesota. I'm not super comfortable with anger and conflict. But this is about injustice, right? This is about like defending yourself against a fucking bully, right? For me, it's even like people shouldn't have to deal with this, not just me. This is something everybody struggles with. And if I can use rage to push it back, then I'm fighting the good fight for everybody.
Right on. That's great. Also, another use of this tool is if X is coming from somebody else, you can use it against that X force coming through them, but you never use it directly at the person because we never want to send rage and hate to another human. But if you imagine like there's an aura of X around that person, you can kind of do the cosmic rage at that negativity that's like, it's like they're, like I explained my X takeover.
Yeah.
They're inhabited by Part X. And like that person who made that comment about me, she was in an X takeover. Yeah. And she might have the opinion that I can't write. That's fine. She's entitled to that. But her need to say it was X because she was angry. How come it was so easy for her? She hasn't worked as hard as I did, you know.
Right. Well, Jamie, I'm very sad to report we're out of time, but I want to give people a little bit of a taste of some other tools that are in the book. If you're facing basically any kind of writing issue or a human issue, you can find a tool in Jamie's book that's going to speak to you and help you get through it. Is there anything else you want to say just to all the writers out there now that you have their ear?
Well, you know, I will say this, you know, I work with a lot of writers, you know, screenwriters, nonfiction writers, and I'm married to a very well-known novelist who's written 15 books. And, you know, it never gets easier. When I first went to Bruce, I thought, oh, Bruce Wagner, he's going to write another book. He's just going to go off like whistle while we work. No, he goes to work like he gets a book idea and he's like, no. He knows what it takes. And he literally, with this book, I was like, he took my wall calendar out and put like one, like how many days for each chapter. And I'm like, I'm going to write the book well before that. He was exactly right. He's written 15 novels. He knows exactly how long it takes to do everything. And that's why he's so like, oh my God, because it's not how I'm going to write an essay. Not that essays are easy either, but like a book, it's a marathon. And then in my case too, life happened. And then I was like, oh no, I can't write the book. But then I'm like, so glad because it was a different book. So I want to say it's hard for everybody.
Yes.
And even if you get like known, it doesn't mean you're going to make much money. Even if you're respected and you have people love your book, doesn't mean you're going to make money at it. And if you do make money and you become successful, it's kind of never going to feel like it. And then if you want to write another book, it's going to be incredibly hard again. So welcome to the writing world.
And write anyway.
Yeah, it's hard for everybody. And if you want to do it, just do it because you have this one lifetime. and you want to do what you want to do, right? With me with this book, I wanted to have written another book that I felt was I did the best I could. So go and do that.
Yes, I love it. Jamie Rose, thank you so much. Everyone, please go pre-order Facing Madam X. It comes out in
March 3rd.
March 3rd,
2026.
Okay, I highly, highly recommend it.
Oh.
I can't, endorse it strongly enough.
That means so much to me. And I just adore you. And I love the service you're doing for writers. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And just writer too.
Right. Bye. Take care.
Jamie's upcoming book, Facing Madam X, comes out in March 2026 and is available for pre-order now on Amazon. Learn more about Jamie at jamierosecoaching.com.